Hi everyone, welcome to the ninth episode of Chilat Chats con CLCA. I'm super excited for this episode because today we we are going to talk about the arts and what we love about it. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Jazmin Torres, the marketing director for CLCA, and I will be your host today. A little intro about myself, I guess, is I'm a third year communications major, and I'm from Inglewood, so that's like LA kind of. But yeah, I'm with three other lovely people. If y'all can introduce yourselves, please.
I could go. I'm Kat. Full name Katherine Menendez. I'm a first year. I'm kind of like exploring, but right now I'm into like cinema. I'm from LA too. Um, yeah.
Well, I'm John. My name is John Gonzalez. I'm a second year. Uh, the type of art that I like is I'm more of a painting type of person, and I've been taking it for like over 7 years now, so I have some knowledge and things.
Okay,
Cool.
cool. My name is Jose. I want to watch Avatar again, and I'm from San Diego.
What year and your major?
Oh, second year stats major.
Cool. So, three of us have like Actually, no, mine is not movie background, but we're kind of like being artsy right now. But my virtual background doesn't work. But I guess to start off our conversation, I'm gonna ask the question: what is your favorite form of art and why? And that'll be like an open discussion type of thing. So, if anyone wants to start,
I like music.
is that your favorite form?
Probably there's a lot of there's like infinite forms of art, right? In my opinion, there's like
Yeah.
art in so many ways, like makeup. I don't know,
That's true. Makeup. I completely forgot about makeup.
like pottery. I feel like music right now is one of my favorites, but I feel like I can dive into different types of expressions of art.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about y'all.
Yeah.
And adding on to that, I feel like clothing, like the way you dress,
Ooh.
what you
Oh,
wear,
right,
like that's a
fashion.
form of art too.
Oh yes, yes. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
how about like give us some examples, Kat?
Well, okay. Well, I can't choose a favorite, but my two tops right now is for sure cinema. If you talk to me, you know for sure cinema and
Yeah.
clothing, like what I wear. I love color coordinating. I love, being funky with it, trying something new, trying something different,
Mm-hmm.
matching your shoes with like a pocket in your jeans. Like I don't know, just trying something different and being yourself, being authentic. But like when it comes to movies, I've like really gotten into film. I don't even know where to start. Like
When did you start like getting into film? I feel like
the thing is that I've always been into film, but I always saw like, oh, I'm just watching movies. Like I just really like movies. Like it was just like
Yeah.
a something I did. Like I'd watch a movie a night. Um, Kind of started in high school, but then it wasn't until I met a cool friend of mine, and he really got me into like 60s, 70s movies, but specifically like horror. So like The Thing. Well, that's 80s. So, like The
Psycho.
Thing. Yeah, stuff like that. And once he got me into that, then I was like, whoa, like this is a whole other world. Like I was into like Legally Blonde, Clueless, like in high school,
Oh, that's cute.
like, just the classics. But
Yeah.
then when I started
Classics.
going into senior year and like first year of college, that's when I started watching more independent films, like films that really make you question life, like horror, like but not just
Yeah.
like modern horror, but yeah,
Like thrillers. I love thrillers.
yeah.
Oh, thrillers are
Like
fun.
that's probably my favorite genre when it comes to films. Like, because
You have any favorite?
recent favorites.
Doctor Sleep.
Oh, Doctor Sleep. That was an interesting movie.
That was cool.
Interesting movie.
Do you know what Doctor Sleep is, Kat? Doctor Sleep is kind of like the sequel of The Shining. It's supposed to be the sequel of The Shining.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I hadn't watched The Shining, and we watched The Shining before we went to the theaters. but I fell asleep. It was exciting. Like I don't know why. I think I was sleepy, and I wanted to fall asleep, so I wouldn't fall asleep in movies. So but I still enjoyed Doctor Sleep. It was really cool and really interesting. Have you
Oh,
seen
I
it?
didn't know that. Gotta watch that one.
I think it came out like 2019,
Oh,
last year.
Last year?
Last year. Yeah, I made it sound like it was a long time ago. Last year.
you're like, oh, that's 10 years ago.
I know. But kind of adding on to like like I think for me, I also really like, and I've always liked like film and movies and stuff since like high school and stuff, because I feel like it kind of reminds me of how like I like how music adds significance and like meaning to whatever is being portrayed. And like I for me I like music a lot, so it's kind of like reminds me of when you put on your earphones and you like kind of put on your favorite song, and that's like the soundtrack of that certain part of your life. Like that's what a movie is to me, kind of.
For sure.
You kind of get lost in it.
That describes exactly what I feel when I watch certain movies. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's cool. That's why I like a lot of like um what's the genre called? Like when it's like I don't know why I forgot about it. It's like real, but it's fiction. I don't know, but like a lot of the real type of movies that are like like that portray struggle, that portray love, or I don't know, and can sometimes be underwhelming. But it's kind of like that's kind of what life is. It's pretty underwhelming.
You mean like mid-90s?
Yeah, like
Like A24
Yeah.
films, right?
Yeah, I sound so
Yeah.
basic, but
No, that's not basic.
No,
I
it's
know a lot of
cool.
people, especially on Twitter, they bash A24 because those movies are boring and slow. But the thing is, it's like, the way I see it is like, when you're watching a YouTube video of someone's day in the life, and it's like a span or like a time lapse of them studying, and you see it within like 3 seconds, but realistically they're studying for like 3 hours. Like that's life, and like that's how movies are. You can't skip it. You don't just go by it fast. Like it's gonna happen slow. Like when you're at home and stuff, laying down, like you're laying there for hours, and not a time lapse of it happening fast, and it's not all action thrill. Like it's all slow, and like that's just like the rawness of movies.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
you said it's just like life, and it's like certain people can relate to it, to that kind of life that's being like shown in a movie. So it's just like up to the person, like whether they can relate to it or not. That's probably why some people don't like it, because they can't really relate to what's going on, and they can't like vibe with the flow of how it's being shot, like the story's being like told.
Yeah, because it's not it's not just about like the plot or like the story that's being told. It's also like the way it's shot, the way like the point of view of who's telling the story, like the character development, like everything else is just it's not just like the story plot. And I think that's why I really like film and movies.
For sure. I'm super into film because of the directors and special effects and screenwriting. Like that's what really interests me. Like I don't want to talk too much, but like a director that I'm super into is his name is David Lowery. And his first film that he directed, or one of his first, was The Good Dinosaur. And everyone knows that. It's like a classic Disney blockbuster. But a movie you don't know that he directed was a movie called A Ghost Story. And A Ghost Story, if you watch it, you should I really recommend it. It's on Netflix, and it's a movie that really makes you question life, the afterlife, time travel, just things like that. And it's so crazy to see how a director can go from blockbuster to like such an independent, tiny indie film that no one really knows, and the people that did watch it bashed him for it. So I'm super into directors. Like that's just so interesting to me. They just put their lives out in a film for other people to watch.
I like when directors like take it like personal, when take a project personal, like you said, like the idea of questioning what's afterlife, and like what like those deep things. That's why I really liked we watched the OA together, me and Jazmin, and that was a really cool show. I really liked it. You heard
I really recommend you guys to watch it because it's about like so there's this girl, she's blind, and it's like she regained her blindness because she went through like a near death near what is it called?
Death experience.
Yeah, near death experience. And I don't know, it's the entire like show series is about near death experiences, and so like if that captures your interest, like definitely watch it.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
The OA, like
the letter O and letter A. It just involves. Huh?
How'd you guys watch it? Like on what?
What's the name of
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, I'll type it in the chat. It's
Yeah. What about you, John? About like art and stuff. You said you've been doing it for like 7 years.
Yeah, I've been painting since like 6th grade. I've always been more of a like realistic type of artist. Well, I want to say that. I've never really liked the realism, all that kind of stuff. I mean, not the realism, the non-realistic stuff. I don't know, but I feel like painting in a way like kind of helps me like express myself when I can do it in other like ways. Um, like I feel like the canvas itself is something that you like, as a person can control, right? Like you're able to express like emotions, and it doesn't have to exactly be painting. It could be music too, where I feel like whatever an artist is presenting is something that you like they mean from their heart or from like the inside. If you really pay attention, then you kind of tell how the person is. Like for painting, like certain colors mean certain things. Like I remember when I used to do my own like painting process, I had to do like an extended research about it, and then I had chose the colors like specifically just for that background or the colors or anything that I wanted to present or portray through my painting, and that I chose the colors that I wanted to paint on my canvas because I felt like those were able to express the most of what I was trying to communicate through my painting itself.
And what kind of like colors or like style do you gravitate to? Because you said like you do like realistic, or I'm sorry, what type of art did you say you're?
Yeah, realistic.
Realism.
Yeah, when you look it up online, it's more of, they call it naturalism, where it's like you capture the moment itself. It's kind of like you let's say you were to take a picture, you would draw it, you would like repaint it exactly the same way as it was on the picture.
But so the thing is like, oh sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like when you take a picture of something, it's like it's something fixed. But when you decide to like have your own take on it, that's when you're actually painting it. Like, is that how you feel?
Yeah, that's what I mean in a way. Where I take a picture of something, like I capture a moment. It could be anything, whatever I feel at the moment. Or sometimes I come up with my own ideas. But if I were to capture a moment, like if I were to capture this moment, take a picture and repaint it, to make it my own, I would probably change a few colors and that kind of stuff.
But like, how would you change the colors? Like, how do you go about deciding the colors?
So let's take I'm not calling McDonald's art or anything, but if you check the colors in McDonald's, right, the color yellow, usually like it's connected to hunger, to like hungry. So the reason why a lot of like restaurants have the color yellow is because the color yellow kind of triggers something in your brain that makes you think like of hunger. So that's why they have it. And then red has to do with let me check it out.
A person that's like blue is like comfort. Like that the color blue. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, the color. So let's say I was painting something, right, and I wanted to portray something that has to do with that smooth feeling, where when the viewer sees my painting, I want them to feel like calm and not feel any anger towards anything, just to calm down, I would on the sky I would make like I would transition from a light blue to this like maybe dark navy, but then in between it I would add some white to make the light blue pop out more than the back. So in a way, it creates the distance between like darkness and lightness, while the lightness is popping up more. So it brings more calmness towards you.
That's so cool. I really like how like you would or someone who won't paint who doesn't paint like would think that like painting is so easy, but every form of art is like super intentional. Like there's a reason why those colors are in the painting are like that. There's a reason why a shot is filmed a certain way. There's a reason why that song sounds that way, or like I don't know, it's just and it's I guess art could be misunderstood sometimes because it like people may think that it's like an easy thing to do when in reality like everything is supposed to be the way it is, like it's intentional. It's like you know
It's kind of like the saying. I don't know if you guys heard the saying, but it kind of. I'm not sure I'm saying it exactly correctly, but it's like the more you think you know, it's actually the less. Like the more knowledge you gain, the more you realize, the less you know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or because once like when you enter a field, you might like be confident about it and kind of stuff. Like when painting, when I first started, I was like, this is pretty easy. Just putting colors together and make a painting. But then the more I got into it and the more I learned about art, the more I realized that there's a deeper meaning and more knowledge. You have like centuries or years of like artists and people who painted, and they all like wanted to convey a message. And it doesn't have to just apply to art; it could apply to film, to music, just anything in general.
Yeah, how you said like the more you know, like the less. Like, the way I kind of interpret that is like the more you kind of like get into it, but like and get more skills. I feel like it's you kind of drift away from what your look on it is. Uh, but yeah, because like what's special about art is that it's like a person's mind, and it's just they're putting it out there for other people to like interpret it with their own minds. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just yeah, it's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said earlier, like if you were to like really pay attention, or, like analyze a piece of uh art, it could be anything, in painting, in a film. Like you could see a part of the artist or the painter, the director. Like you could see a part of themselves. Like Kat mentioned earlier, like the director David. What was his name?
David Laurie.
Lori,
Yeah, like,
yeah,
we take a look at the dinosaur movie. I haven't seen the Ghost, right? That's what it's called.
A ghost story.
But like in a
Yeah.
way, you kind of see the difference between like a part of themselves. You could see like the dinosaur, like Dixie, Disney type of stuff, and then if you go into the Ghost, I don't have like knowledge about it, but I mean, it seems like it would be a good movie to watch. So
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like if you really were to like pay attention or analyze to something, to the little things and anything in the picture, you would know more about it, understand more of like just anything in general.
yeah, that makes sense. Like right now, like John, like how when you started painting and then you like gain more knowledge about the techniques and stuff about painting, and then you probably like change the way like your art looks. And same thing goes with like different types of artists, or like they learn more things about their type of art, and like they listen to more music, or they watch more films, or they experience more things in life, and then their art changes, and then their whole fan base changes, and it's like I don't know, it's just a whole like evolution type of thing.
Yeah, I find it kind of like amazing or interesting the way like art in general has shifted over like throughout the years. It's just like if we talk about film, how like I don't know much about film, but it seems like it has been going like upwards and better as the years have progressed. And then art is just like you have different like art periods, and each period was like the main concept of what was going on at the time.
Yeah, like history plays a part in like what humans produce, like what's going on in their minds, and like yeah, like kind of like evolution of art. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I feel like recently a lot of films have been very political, you know, talking about a lot of social injustices
Yeah.
that occur. Like, just for instance, like a movie called A Good Time, director, I recommend them. The directors are brothers. They're called the Sadfi brothers, but that's like aside from the point. But the movie's called A Good Time, and it's on Netflix, and Robert Patterson's in it. But it's not like no Twilight thing. He's like actually acting, and throughout the entire film, I won't spoil it so you guys can watch it at home. But throughout the entire film, you watch a brother that's poor with his other brother who's mentally disabled, and they just commit the most atrocious crimes. But when you finish it, you're just like, wait, I like them, and the reason why you like them is because it's covering this political injustice about poverty, and how them committing crimes is only it's a result of them being poor, and they're only stealing banks because they have literally nothing. They live on the streets, and you like them for it. You're like, I don't want them to get caught. And throughout the entire film, it's like the whole film is filmed in one night, and well, it's like the plot is in one night, and you just follow them, and at the end you start to question as to why does crime occur, like, well, why does crime happen. So it's like movies for me really just, and this is why I'm like starting to make films, but it's just like they convey such messages and themes that you can't really say, like, you know, like you don't really know, like you when I'll just give an example. So I'm like right now working on a short film, and I didn't really understand the symbolism of like a tiny doll, or the symbolism of a hand moving a certain way, or like you
Right.
just like little things, as like John said, the little details is what really makes something so beautiful. Yeah, that's what I had to say.
Arts create impact.
Little details are so cool. They stay in your mind, and you like make little details into big ideas. And I feel like that's what like the aim of the person who makes it. Like you said, like a little doll. How it could have like that can mean so much to you, but it doesn't mean like if you want to show it to people, you gotta cut it. You gotta give it meaning, and I say you give it meaning through like some kind of like form of art.
Yeah, and in movies, the way you even show meaning is through shots. Like Jazz said earlier, is each thing has like nothing is done without intention. So that shot of
Mm,
like the doll, it's intentional. You know, they're trying to show you that that
mm,
doll has significance. And later on in the film, when you see that doll fall from the like child's hands, like whoa, 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 that doll was pretty important. It's falling. What
mm,
does that mean? So it's like those things. Like shots are important. You know, and just by
yeah.
watching a lot of movies, I'm like learning the different types of shots. Like, what's a cowboy shot? What's a close up, extreme close up? What's the difference between a medium close up and a close up? So it's like those things are pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool that I'm learning, and and you don't really get it, but once you start learning about shots and angles, that's when you really appreciate like directors' films even more, because it's like, oh dang, he did that for that reason. I know
Mm-hmm.
why. Like, ha ha ha, or mine, that kind of thing. So it's like when you study art, you just appreciate it so much more. And I'm not saying you don't have to study it to not appreciate it, because you can appreciate it either way. But it's just when you study it, you appreciate it more.
You
There's
learn to see things that others don't like realize, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's also like some debate that like the more you know, the more constricted you are within your art too. So I mean, I don't know. You know what I
That's
mean?
what John mentioned earlier, huh? Like,
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Oh.
yeah,
No, Jazz, go deeper into that. I want to know more.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
Do you agree with that?
well, I mean, I'm not an artist myself, but uh I guess like it makes sense. Like sometimes I'm maybe that's why I'm like, you know, I like rather just be a consumer than an artist, because then like the more I will know, the less like value listening to music would bring me, or like watching a movie would bring me. You know, that makes sense. Like watching a movie would, like, if I like figure something out in a movie and I'm like, whoa, that happened, like, you know, someone who knew a lot about film would be like, oh yeah, that's like, you know, nothing, like it's like something so simple, but like to me it's something huge, like a discovery or something.
Mhm.
I guess in that way it makes sense.
And I feel like once you put yourself on like the artist's perspective, like Kat did, like Kat, she said that she's coming up with a short film, and like that kind of put her, like, she sees things different, and she's catching, well, she said it perfectly, she's catching like little things that other directors or other artists do, and you can maybe even like take that and make it your own, like, and make something even cooler out of it, or even more interesting. And yeah, that's cool. And making something, you know, like stepping away from being a consumer for a minute just to see what you have and what you can do, you can produce.
Yeah, and you can't come up with excuses. Like, if you guys ever seen the Florida Project, the director Sean Baker, he has a movie in 2015 called Tangerine, and he made that film on an iPhone, and that film won four like awards. Like one of them was an Academy
What?
Oh
Award.
really?
It was all on iPhone. So it's like no
That's
excuses.
crazy.
Like I'm filming my short film on iPhone. You know,
Yeah.
like if you have a
That's
pencil
true.
and a paper, no excuses. Just keep
Yeah,
going.
like your brain. Yeah, exactly. It's just your brain, and I feel like there's like an artist in every single person. It's just in a different way, you know. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, like art can be, there's like anything, you know, a fashion, like Kat said, makeup, or sculpting something, video games. I don't know, like painting, like no excuses, you know. If you want to do it, just do it, you know. Or you can like keep being consumer, and like, and then slowly explore the side of creating.
Kat, what you said reminds me of like this like interview that I saw that Steve Lacy did, and like the way he like records and produces like all his, or he used to, like once he didn't have the resources, but like he used to like record and produce like everything on his phone, and um like I don't know, that's just, you know, it shows that you, anybody can do it. And maybe that's why like also like a lot of people hate on bedroom pop, but like, you know, that's like the thing that's happening now, because it's so easy to make music, you know,
Yeah, for
nowadays.
sure. And I have a friend who's like not the wealthiest. I mean, yeah, we're college students. And so what he does is, because he doesn't have the instruments, he goes to Sam Ash and he records himself playing, you know, like with the instruments that are there that you can play with. And like with that, he makes music until he saves up for the instruments.
Uh,
So it's like just like thinking outside the box as to how you can still make music or make film and stuff like that. Like for me, we're in quarantine, and like the actors that I'm using, my brothers, like my mom, like, you know, like they're not
yeah.
them, they're gonna be in my film, they're playing them, whoever the characters in my film. So it's like just be resourceful, like, you know, like don't limit yourself, don't say I can't do it, because that's what I used to do, and then now look, I'm doing it.
I
Hell
admire
yeah.
you. I admire you, because I like suck at starting. Like I'm like, I'm gonna do things, and then I don't start, and it's so hard to start for me, I think. But you inspire me. You all inspire me.
Aw. You
Oh.
inspire me with the music.
Jose, do you want to like go off on why you like music? Because John and Kat went off on there.
Oh. I mean, like, I feel like you can, the way you described them liking something, you can just apply it to music too. You know, you just feel, you listen to something, you put it on your headphones, you could just like lose yourself in it, and like step away from yourself and step into the world of the artist through your ears. Sounds really deep, but it's pretty simple actually. You just gotta like, you know, or embrace what the artist is trying to show you. You know, music's cool. shy.
Yeah, it's crazy because Kat and John's art was like, more visual, and I feel like in a sense music is also visual, like to appreciate it in another level, like it's also visual, but then like, you know, like it's mainly like, listening, auditory, so
Hmm.
I don't know. But I also feel like in order to understand it in a listening way, like sometimes you have to know the like more music theory, or like what is this, what is that in like terms of music.
Yeah, I've been guilty of, like we were talking about earlier, knowing things and like preventing you from experiencing more of it. Like it's like I've been guilty of knowing too much about music and like overthinking it. But in reality, it's just a feeling. It's just a feeling that's in your head, and you just like it. For me, since music is not like visual, it's more auditory, and it's also more of an emotion. I feel like it has like a different angle it gets at you with emotion. Because like you listen to how you're feeling it, and that's just a whole nother experience. Or you can just listen to something and be doing something else, and it's just like in the back of your mind, and your back of your mind is liking it. And I don't think you can really do that with movies actually. Like, well, I mean, I used to watch SpongeBob Square. I used to watch the SpongeBob movie. I guess like that's it, like in the back of my mind, 'cause I'm not really paying attention. But like with movies, you have to pay attention. Like you have to see in detail and feel it in order to get the full experience. And with music, you don't really have to do that because it can just be a vibe, and you're just vibing, in your life. You don't really have to be focused. But yeah, that's how I feel about music.
That's true. I agree with that because like music, like it's so quick. It's like 3 minutes, and so like
Mm.
it could be applied. Like it's in a sense like music is subjective because like whatever you're experiencing at that moment when you're listening to it will be applied to whether you will like the song or not, because it's so short. Like you can listen to it whenever you want. And a movie is like you can be prepared, and then art is like, you specifically go to an art gallery to see art. It's intentional. And music is like you hear it everywhere.
And I'm excited because like this like film, art, music will is gonna get crazy. Like technology will like, yeah, like, right, like uh and it's exciting, because more people are born with different ideas, and you're taking so many, and it's gonna end in like a big bang of just art. I don't know. I feel like.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because
Mhm.
adding on to that, it's like back then, my mom, she wanted to like record and like take pictures of so many things, but she couldn't. And like that thought, like when she told me that, I just think about that a lot. Like out of nowhere, I could be sitting down and I'm like, dang, that's a really pretty flower. Let me take a picture. I can easily just pick up my phone, take the picture, save it onto Google Photos, and have it for years. Like years. Like some random person on the other side of the world can probably hack into my Google photo and get that picture from me. Like once I take it, it's mine. Like like I can look at something, take that picture, and like done. And that's something that we weren't able. Well, not us, but like the other generation, the older generation wasn't able to do that, and that's just crazy.
I
And like what the
completely
future holds.
forgot. I completely forgot about photography. But it's
Bro,
funny
you have
because
a
like I
camera.
know I don't know why I completely forgot about photography, but I
You do art. That's photography is art. You're not a consumer. You're not always a consumer. Like you, I feel like
As artists.
that's your side of art.
yeah.
When we went to that underground concert with Sessa, I was like
Yeah.
totally vibing with the music. But I look over and I see Jazz, like, she looks so cute, like with her camera, and she's taking pictures. And then later
Yeah.
that night, the next day, I see them posted on Instagram, and I'm like, she's doing something here. And what's even cooler is that the person that she took pictures of, like, reposted her stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Both of
like,
them.
that's crazy. Like, that's
It's like they
crazy.
appreciate your art. You know?
And I actually just started like doing that last quarter more often because like there was so many shows that I was able to go to, so I was able to take more photos. But yeah, it's just cool, especially because like smaller artists and musicians, like because they're smaller, I guess, you know, they don't have like such a huge fan base, and they appreciate the fact that that you took their picture and that you made them look cool or whatever. But yeah,
It's like art, working on art.
That's like another conversation.
True.
How like art it can be more appreciated when it's like more of a when you're less popular. You know, like if like I'm like I got like millions of followers, like I won't, and someone's like sending me something of their art, like I won't really pay attention to it. But when it's like just us four and we're sharing our like what we created, it's just like it's so much more appreciated, and we can share with our friends. It's just that's cool.
And like
Before, when we were talking about music earlier, I was gonna mention this, but I don't want to interrupt anything for you guys. So I have this. When you're talking about music, we go back to the topic of music. I was gonna mention how music has the power to like change your emotions and like put you in the zone or take you out the zone. You know, if we call it like, but the zone I mean, you're like focused and ready, or music could put you into like a depressed state, or you know any other like state, emotional state there is. So what I do, I realize I've done this for a while. So before every test I take, there's this song that I always listen to because I feel like it's like motivational and like it puts me in the zone. Like I always like do it. I don't know why, but I always do it. But I don't know if you guys have you guys seen Creed 2?
Creed 2?
Yeah.
The boxing movie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I heard about it.
Well, on Creed 2, there's this scene on the desert, right? After he fights like one of the main people he's fighting, he loses and goes into the depressed state, and then he goes into like the desert and he's trained. And there's this song there with like as he's working out, you know, growing as a person and getting stronger. The song is playing in the background and it's like really good, and I like it. So after I saw the movie, you know, I went home, searched it up, listened to it, liked it even more. So every time before like I take a test, I listen to the song. It's called the. Let me pull it up. I forgot.
That's so cool.
That's cool. Like it's like you apply
Kind
it
of a ritual,
to
you
your
know.
life.
It's called Running. By. Well, it's called Running. If you search up Creed 2, it's called Running.
Running?
Is it by the Far Side?
Let me check.
Because I know that song. That's a good song.
Yeah, it's by Linwood.
Hold on.
I can't say that last name, but Linwood, A$AP Rocky, Jacob Banks, and yeah, them three. But this song is like this song. Every time before I listen to it, I remember the scene, you know, like fighting and moving forward and not giving up, and it puts me on a zone where I'm focused and ready to tackle anything. So I feel like music has like the power to put you in a zone where you could either like be motivated, happy, you know, like calm, sad, or like anything, you know.
Yeah.
Instantly too. Sometimes like way.
Instantly too. Yeah, that's cool because I mean, like, that's also why I like music so much because it's like something instant. Like you know, like you have your study music, you have your shower music, you have your running music, like
crying music.
Everything. Yeah, your crying music even, and like it kind of like it's that catalyst towards you feeling emotion, like your emotions more vividly, and like that's a good thing. Yeah. That's why I also like film too. But film, like I watch film for a different type of feeling. It's like a more zen type of feeling. Like music is
also like the way recently, it's because I recently got into like film, like like in the last year. Like I feel like I've appreciated more, and I also feel like the way I see is like it's like a progression like of emotions. It's like this, and you feel this, and you feel this, and like the movie ends and you feel this. and you look back at it a month later, and then you're like, damn, the movie was trying to show me this, and yeah, it's just interesting. It's cool.
You know what I hate about like sometimes about like films like sometimes like the main character like the protagonist can like so like have like a terrible life and then they have a terrible ending. Like he I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. I just don't like sad endings kind of stuff. It's kind of weird to say because sometimes like the sad endings like can help you grow, but at the same time it's kind of like why would you do that? You know, like I watched this show recently, and then the guy was like he lost a lot of stuff, and then the he fell in love with somebody, and then the girl ended up dying, and I was just like,
like why?
to him, you know?
Yeah. Damn.
Sometimes like maybe that's like the purpose of the person who made it to make you feel like mad, to make you feel like mad, or maybe like you'll realize that it's something to appreciate, or like you're still like why, and like if I would have done it, I would have done it this way, and then that's when you're like, maybe I'll do something like that, but I'll do it differently.
You get the little moments more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just you get me mad every time that happens.
I think we're almost we're done with the podcast now.
Yeah.
we had a good conversation, y'all. I thank you for sharing your love for your preferred art and stuff. But does anyone have any closing thoughts?
Maybe we should talk about this like in person once this is solved.
This conversation in person would be crazy.
It would last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get heated, and then we'll get nice and mellow, and then we'll get heated again.
Yeah.
That's cool. But like, if you want to talk about art, or if you're interested in any of the things that we're into, just reach out to us. Like, I'm always down to talk to anybody.
Yes, same.
Yeah, I'm down talking about it too.
Cool.
I'll be bad if we talk about like painting and drawing and that kind of stuff, but I'll do my best with everything else.
Message CLCA directly, and
yeah, sounds good. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, John, for talking with me today. Bye, everyone.
Bye.